So a viewer actually sent me this popcorn after he and his daughter were watching the Cotton Ball episode. And they said they wanted a popcorn bowl. Oopsie. Trying to get a cool shot of the popcorn. So they sent me out this popcorn, which has red and black husks on it. Thank you, Andy and daughter, for sending this out to me. I think this will make a really interesting popcorn bowl. Today we are working with Alumilite Clear Slow resin. This is a urethane-based resin, which means that it is highly reactive with moisture. Hit it with some mold release, and we can set that aside. Popcorn is going to float in resin, so we need to do this in layers. A couple things about Alumilite. Alumilite is super clear resin. It's got a small window of working time, only 12 minutes. Second thing is it's mixed by weight and not by volume. 171 grams is what 6 ounces looks like. So we're going to go ahead and add part B. So we want 171 grams. So you really got to watch the scale. That's super close. Okay, so once we mix these two together, we've got 12 minutes to complete the pour, mix in the popcorn, get it in the pressure pot. Hey Siri, set timer, 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes and counting.
Popcorn should have all cooled by this point. If you've watched my lava bowl videos, you'll know how urethane resin reacts to moisture. It's definitely pushing it around. Doesn't appear to be shriveling. I'm just going to see if I can get it to soak up some of that resin. I mean, we knew it was going to float, so it's not a huge surprise. All right. How much time we got left? 5.5 minutes. All right, we're doing good on time, I think. So now we need to get this into the pressure pot before the resin starts to cure. And we'll pressurize the pot up to about 50 psi. And one of the things that's really cool about Alumilite resin, cures in 4 hours. All right, well, looks like the mold release worked, so that's not a problem. But what we've got now is we've got all this popcorn that's above the resin layer because it floated, but it's rigid, and that will allow us to put in another layer of popcorn. Yeah, that actually looks really good. I'm really happy with that. So we can pour another layer of resin. Whew, 175, I like that. Let's see if we can get it right on the money this time. Not even close. Kind of nice. Now I can just pour a little back into the bottle. Try again. Oh, baby, that's perfect. We have this down. And again, we just want to mix this. There we go, we got another layer. So we have a total of 24 ounces of resin. And it goes back in the pressure pot. It's looking good. Let's do another layer. And on to part B. Number we're looking to hit is 286. Better and better. We're widening up a little bit more up here. I think we can pour a little thicker layer. So I'm going closer to 20 ounces for this next pour. Oh, right, I forgot to add popcorn. Right. And adding the popcorn. Oopsie. Oh, stink. That's more than I wanted. That just kind of came out all at once. The only thing I'm worried about is that it's floating and that there's a gap between the top and the bottom here. And I can't really tell. It's definitely rising up a little bit in places, but we'll just see what happens. Head back into the pressure pot, and hopefully everything comes out looking good. And the fourth session proceeded just like the first three. We mixed the resin, we added the popcorn, poured the resin, put it in the pressure pot. Yeah, 12 plus 12 plus 20 plus 20. That's 64 ounces. And can you see that little recess there? That's all we need. Just something so we can hold this in the chuck jaws. It's interesting, we've got kind of a cloudy bottom here. I hope that's just skin deep. I think it's just one of the pores, one of the other pores that kind of seep down into the bowl. It kind of, when we were building up the layers, there was a gap and it just seeped down in there. It's really hard to see, but there's now a recess there. And for those of you wondering why I didn't just do this on the drill press, I actually don't have any idea. Unnecessary extra steps. That's what YouTube videos are all about. And now it's spinning the other direction. Ta-da! I'm using my carbide tools for this. You hear that sound? That da-da-da-da-da-da-da? That means it's out around. You'll be able to tell when it goes around because we'll be getting those nice long ribbons. Well, it jumped off the lathe. I think I'm going to glue it back on. I think losing 1/4 of an inch off the side will really affect the shape of it. Alright, so now we got to wait for that to cure. I mean, it appears to be holding. And these tools have what's called a negative rake. We won't turn it as fast as I would, but it will survive the process. Look at the size of this pile. It's ridiculous. This is my favorite part. It's not done, but we have once again pulled off a ridiculous casting and turned something absurd into a bowl shape. We're only going to go through a few grits, 150, 180, and 240. And having my hand here does a couple things. It lets me feel where the grooves and bumps are in the piece, and it also lets me know if the resin's getting too hot. Since I've got so much exposed corn, I'm not wet sanding this. I'm not sure what that would do to it. Another ridiculous, beautiful, weird piece of art. So what we learned from the cereal bowl that I made a couple years back was with all this exposed material, there's no way to polish this easily. And the best way to solve that problem is to simply add a coat of resin. This is for very shallow casts and countertops. And so it's perfect for this application since we're just going to be putting a finish coat on this. Shouldn't take very much resin here. 100 RPM seems a little faster than I was hoping for, so I'm just gonna paint it on here, and then I'll let the lathe turn at 100 RPMs to keep it from dripping. I don't even know if we're gonna need another coat or not. We might not even need to do anything. All right, let me turn this on. We're gonna let that go while the resin cures. This object only exists for one reason, because you asked me for it 4 years ago and continued to ask me ever since then. Popcorn bowl made out of popcorn. We did it. It's here. We have one. They exist now. It came out so clear, just like crystal clear. And the kernels with the black and red husks really give an interesting look to it. It's exactly what it pretends to be. A popcorn bowl infused with popcorn. There's the crack, if you can see it, right there. It actually came together pretty well. And since we coated the inside and the outside, there's no exposed popcorn, and so it's actually a really nice high gloss finish. I mean, if you're following along at home and you want to make your own popcorn bowl out of popcorn, these are the steps you need. Major shout out to Alumilite for sponsoring this video. Both of the resins that I used for this project worked really well, and it was my first time using both of them, and it is in fact crystal clear. There is a link in the description below to the products that I used, and if you use the coupon code PeterBrown at purchase, you'll get 10% off. What's the next strange thing you want to see embedded in resin? Let me know in the comments below. Is what you guys wanted, right?